when it came to like my other subjects, to be honest, languages and all that, I was either bad or average. I was still young and naive at the time to just think that whenever you apply, you're going to be taken. As a country, what do we need? First thing I asked myself, okay, demand, where is the demand?
There's no demand for it, and you end up sitting at home with a degree.
Sitting at home.
There are no jobs for it.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely do not come from a wealthy family, and we are blessed to have the NSFAS. So please do not say ngicela ningifakeni anywhere evarsity as long as ngiphakathi. That is a very, very, very dangerous thing you can do. In this world we live in, some of these things are not clear cut, like do A, do B, do C.
There's no step 1, 2, 3.
There's no step 1, 2, 3. Because if there was step 1, 2, 3, everyone would have a job, right? So we.
Welcome to another episode of 360 Careers. Today we're going to have a very interesting conversation with Shaun Masuku, our guest today. Shaun is a software engineer who's a junior engineer. He's, he did a graduate program last year, and he's going to share about his journey, how he started, what he studied, and some of the things that people that are entering into software development that they need to look after. So Shaun did his degree at the University of Johannesburg. So he studied a BSc in mathematical statistics and computer science. And for the year 2025, did a graduate program. Shaun, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. Sanbonan, Dumelang, Abusheni, Zonke Wonke, everything. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Awesome, man. So yeah, man, software engineer, how does it feel now being a software engineer and then done with your graduate program?
Feels good. Feels like it's a full metamorphosis moment, a full circle moment. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally here. So it feels good. Yeah.
All right, awesome, man. So tell the people, because I like these podcasts are more about, sharing information, just sharing your journey, like how you started, how you ended up choosing mathematical statistic, how you got into UJ in the first place. Just tell us a bit about like how you started and how you ended up choosing software engineering as a career.
Yeah. Okay, so firstly, I was born and raised in Soweto, in a place called Zola North. Those who know, I grew up there, I think for the first 6 years of my life. That's where I was with my mother and father. I'm an only child, by the way, so I don't have siblings. We stayed there for the first 6 years of my life, and then the next 6 years, we moved to a place called Rodeport. Some of you may know it. So we stayed there. And then the next half my life, we then moved back to Soweto. I went to a primary school, which is in Rodeport. It's called Joshua Notia Primary School. And there, I actually started when I was in grade 4. So before grade 4, grade 1, 2, 3, I was in a school called...
It's been that long?
It's been that long. I'm trying to think of it. But I forgot. Shout out to the school if someone remembers. But anyways, I did isiZulu there when I was in grade 1, 2, and 3.
As a home language.
As a home language. And then English was the first additional language. But then when I moved to Joshua Notia Primary School, I then had to do Afrikaans. Because it's a school that's based in around like areas where there's a lot of like Afrikaans speaking people. So I had to adjust when it comes to that. Moving from learning to something completely different. It's a different feeling for a kid. But it was a very good school. I got some good mentorship there. And in primary school, I had this one maths teacher, which was Mr. Tando Vela, and he...
You still remember their name?
I still remember his name for sure, because he played a very crucial role in my life. So around grade 5, 6, 7 was around the time where he had decided that he wants to offer extra classes to his students. And mind you, this was completely free. All you had to do was show up. So how it worked is that after school, when you were done with classes, he would then give you guys a lift to go to. I remember it was some office close to like in Rodiport. They'd book a place there, and then we'd go there and sort of he'd teach us sort of some concepts, maybe things he's seeing that we are not understanding or we need more help in, and yeah. So it was.
It's underrated to have those type of teachers, eh?
It is, because like some teachers don't understand the importance of like early foundation development.
Because the fact that this is still primary.
Yeah.
There's high school, there's university, but you still remember that teacher from primary school.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure wherever he is, even his subconscious mind doesn't even think that Shaun remembers who I am. But I do. So if you see this, Babu Vela, thank you so much. But yeah.
No, big ups, man. Big ups to Babu Vela.
Yeah. So I guess I had a very good foundation when it comes to my learning, especially maths. So when I went to high school, I went to a high school called Westridge High School. It's also based in Rodiport. When I got there, I pretty much like just excelled when it came to subjects that are similar to like mathematics, so maths, physics.
Was it because of that foundation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think when I got to high school, there were a lot of concepts that we were learning that I could easily grasp on because the foundation in primary school was really strong. So I definitely had that advantage and blessing. But yeah, so I went to Westridge High School. I did, so that was in 2014. No, 2012. 2012 was when actually no, 2014 was when I went. Yeah, 2014 is when I started. That was grade 8. And then I matriculated in 2018.
So when you matriculated in 2018, when did you know that you wanna study, a degree in computer science?
So I knew that whatever I had to study would have to have mathematics with it, because when it came to like my other subjects, to be honest, languages and all that, I was either bad or average. I was never good. The only one where I was good was with just mathematics and physics or science. That's it. So I knew if I'm gonna go to university, I need to make sure that I'm still within that space.
Yeah.
So that's firstly. But I didn't know what exactly to study. So when I finished in high school, I took a gap year in 2019. I took a gap year. So at this time, we were staying in a place called Bramfisherville. So it's between Soweto and Rodiport.
Yeah.
Stayed there. We were staying there at that time. And basically, I spent my gap year there. And the purpose of my gap year, I guess, was I just wanted to know what it is that I want to do.
Was it intentional though, or maybe you just didn't apply on time, or maybe there were, other issues that, sort of like forced you to take a gap year, or it was always an intention that after I'm done with grade 12, I'm taking a gap year?
So it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
So actually I had applied I wanted to join the Air Force. So I wanted to be like a fighter pilot, right? So I saw this other application online on one of their sites, and they had said intake is usually around October, September. So in my head, I then thought, this would probably mean I have to take a gap year and wait for them to take me. So I was still young and naive at the time to just think that whenever you apply, you're going to be taken, right? looking back, well, if I would,
Do you see that as a mistake that you did because
yeah.
you thought you were just going to apply and you were guaranteed just because of your results that they would just take you?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
because of the results, because they had said that they wanted like a minimum of 60% for maths and science. I had gotten like a distinction for maths and science, so I had thought, okay, confidence, I'm gonna be taken.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. I found myself within this gap year. But during my gap year, I remember there was a time around in March where I started having sort of thoughts of, okay, but what happens if you don't get accepted? How do you prepare for that? So I remember that's around the time when I started doing research on, okay, what's my game plan if this doesn't go my way, right? Um, the next logical thing that time, varsity, go to school,
Yeah.
right? So now I have to figure out what exactly do I want to study.
Yeah.
So when it came to that, really, the main, it's not the only, but it's the main driving factor to my choice is demand in terms of, okay, like what type of country am I in? Like what's going on here? How are things?
Oh, you didn't go like, hey, what's my passion? What am I passionate about?
No. That definitely wasn't the driving factor. I had to sort of be real with myself when it came to that. So I just told myself first, as a country, what do we need? I started doing
And that's very
research.
important because you find that, people do like choices where, I mean, I think it's important to like to follow your passions, right? But as long as like your passions, you can somehow align them with where the jobs are and where the demand is in terms of the market.
Yeah.
Instead of just following them and actually what you're chasing, there's no demand for it and you end up sitting at home with a degree
Sitting
and
at home.
there are no jobs for it.
Exactly. So you need to avoid such things, Buffet, too. Like, unfortunately, we're not living in a world where everything is perfect, right? We need some level of realism or realistic thinking, rather. So I guess that's where I was when I was researching. First thing I asked myself, it's okay, it demand, ikuphi? Where is the demand, right? And I saw, it's okay, there's a high demand in the space that has to do with the technology. And I saw that there were some demands elsewhere, right? Like I saw, it's okay, in the field of medicine and health, there's a high demand there. There's a high demand in the field of finances and investment and, the financial sector. They need people there as well. So I saw, I figured that, okay, my eyes are probably set around those industries, right? So that was my first sort of basis for choosing what I want to do, right? But that wasn't my only, because now I have these options. Now I can then say, okay, out of these options, which one appeals the most to me?
Yeah.
Right? Which one do I want to say resonate the most with?
Yeah.
I used like 1 + 1 is 2. If theory subjects they were off. I rarely studied. I hated reading a book. Medicine is out because medicine is known to be, like theory intense. That you're gonna be reading nonstop. Law is out.
So you're looking for something that's like more practical, something that you spend a lot of time actually solving something.
Exactly. I remember I used to tell people that, like, I don't want to do a course where if I give you the answer, you have the opportunity to tell me that no, but your answer is not that good. It could have been structured more, and so I knew that's why I'm probably gonna still go along the path of EMATS, because with EMATS 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
No one can tell you that you're sort of correct. There's none of that, right? So I wanted something like that. and also I wanted something which is more practical, like you said.
Okay, no, man, that's good. And then so now you go through this process of and I really like the fact that you're looking at the demand, you're looking at what are like your your strongest skills and your strongest your strengths, right? And you choose, there's a process around choosing what it is that you want to study. And then fortunately you get to study this degree, mathematical statistics and computer science, right? So in terms of getting into UJ, do you come from like a wealthy family? Like how did you get into UJ?
Okay. Yeah, I definitely do not come from a wealthy family. Um, we spent a lot of time emqashweni, so that's renting.
Renting.
Yeah,
Oh,
renting.
emqashweni, it's renting.
Emqashweni,
Okay, yeah.
So we spent a lot of time.
So emqashweni. Makes sense.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time in rentals, and I mean, I think in neighborhood, all these neighborhoods that I was in, they are not neighborhoods where like people who are financially strong would probably stay.
Yeah.
So, but to answer your question, what's okay? How did I end up in UJ? We are blessed, ladies and gentlemen, because we live in a country where, as much as a lot of things are off, but the government does try to assist when it comes to education. That is something that it seems like they do take pride in. And we are blessed to have NSFAS. So
it has helped a lot of people, including myself.
Yeah.
A lot of people especially like a lot of people of color. Like if when I ask a lot of people that I come across, NSFAS.
Yeah, NSFAS is really good, right? And it's a blessing to us because there's a lot of kids. Like I used to be in a program called ProMats, right, in high school. There were a lot of intelligent kids there who sort of came from a similar background as myself, or maybe worse, right? And you could see, okay, this person actually has a potential to be something great in life. They just need financial support. And as far as is that, I know a lot of people.
What's the strategy though? Because like you are saying, people, I mean, we know that it's available, right? But you will still find people that your grades, obviously they're important. You need to have good grades because then once you have good grades, then like NSFAS got you, right? But some people still get good grades, but then they still struggle with NSFAS. Like, what's the process? Where do you think some people get it wrong? How did you get it right the first time applying it to university and then getting NSFAS? Like, what was that process like? Because I did mine, 15 years ago, more than. So now
a lot of things have changed.
So a lot of things have changed, right?
Yeah. So if you study, NSFAS paid. They have you, they got you, right? If you work hard and you show decent results, decent performance, right? NSFAS is one provider that is not. They're not too strict in terms of your performance, right? They don't want you to be getting like 90% everything or 80% of it. Just perform decent, right? Perform in terms of a way that we can see what's okay, effort like we can see it in the results, right? If you do that, you're gonna be fine in terms of funding, right?
So how do you apply? When do you apply?
Okay, so how do you apply? It's usually towards the end of the year. I want to say around October-ish, maybe November-ish, but around the time when you guys are writing, well, when I say you guys, to the high schoolers,
matriculants,
right? When you guys are writing your exams, it's around the time where you need to start looking at the NSFAS portal, right? Just start looking and sort of, every now and then go there and see, okay, is it open? And
so
also,
do you apply for it separately and you apply for university separately, or is it you apply through the university? Do you get accepted first for a course, or can you apply separate? Like, how do you, or is it you apply for both at the same time?
Okay, so you apply for both at the same time. I know e-application process, NSFAS, sometimes it's like they would ask you where do you want to study and what do you want to study. Just fill in your primary option, but when you get funded, you are able to readjust and recourse to wherever you currently are. So don't
Also,
be
you
too.
can apply for NSFAS. Let's say you listed UJ as your primary university.
Yeah.
But then let's say you ended up getting accepted at UP and actually now you want to do the degree in UP.
Yes.
You can change
You
and
can
still
change.
use the funding to that other degree at
Yes.
UP.
100%.
Okay.
Yes. But there are some things to keep note of, right? Which is something I've actually been wanting to voice out for a while. I'm glad to be in this public space. Is that when you are in high school and it's time for you to pick a career, please do not say, ngicela ningifakeni anywhere evarsity as long as ngiphakathi. That is a very, very, very dangerous thing you can do for yourself, to yourself, because how NSFAS works is that they have what we call the N+1 funding rule. So if your degree is 3 years long and you add a year, let's say, unfortunately, maybe you failed or you changed to a different course, so you ended up adding a year. You are only funded for that one extra year. If you add another year after that, you are no longer funded. So that's an example of a course that's 3 years long. So if you have a 6-year long course, maybe medicine, that means you are funded for 7 years. So as you can see,
In case there's, you have to
Add a
you
year.
fail a module here and there,
Yes.
and it adds an extra year.
it adds an extra year. You
Yeah.
are still funded for that extra year. But if you add an eighth, that eighth, you are no longer funded. Now, why am I mentioning this? Is because there's a lot of cases where students would take a course and say, I want to do course APC, just even if I don't want to do this course, but I just want to find myself a university, and then I will change. Some of them don't even change. They end up doing something they don't love or something that doesn't even have a demand because they found themselves being just wanting to be in the space of Iteshar. But the ones who are able to change like how they planned, and they end up, you basically what you've just done is you've neglected that +1. So that means whatever course you're now going to go to, you cannot add a year in that course. Because if you changed in that first year and
To a different one.
to a different one, that +1 is still counted under your name. So now if you go to this 4-year degree, you can't add a year, because if you add a year, that 5th year, you are not funded.
So you have to make sure that you either complete it in record time and you don't fail anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Because also, like, I would guess that, I mean, if your performance is not good and you fail in quite a lot of modules, so they can only give you grace for another year. So you can't be failing and expecting NSFAS to still pay for you, because there's a lot of, I mean, the fact is that there's a lot of people that need the money and that need the funds. So NSFAS would rather just, fund a student who's serious about their career and getting their degree.
100%. Right. You can only be given so much room for error, guys.
Yeah.
We have to be, I think, real when it comes to that, right? And then also when it comes to, there's another thing that I wanted to mention, right? When it comes to, there's something called an extended program. So I actually majored in mathematical statistics and computer science extended.
Okay.
Right. So an extended program basically means yes, you don't qualify, right? But your marks were close enough for us to believe that you actually have a chance. So
So you have the potential to actually
finish the
complete that degree.
Yes. So in my case, my maths and science marks were really high, but like my other subjects, like my languages were really low, right? So what they then figured was, okay, because I'm doing something that's basically related to the marks that I got like really good, then might as well give this person a chance with the extended program. But with NSFAS, if you do an extended program, that +1 counts under that extended program. So if you are doing a 3-year if a 3-year course, like a standard course mainstream is 3 years, and you do an extended, that means 4, right? NSFAS takes that as if you've added a year, so you failed.
All right. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that means by default, you now have to do record time.
Yeah.
If you add a year after that, so yes, you failed only once, but to them, you've basically failed twice. So you are no longer funded for that final year.
Shaun, I think that's a very great advice, man. So now that we know how NSFAS works, right, and how to get in and how to apply, and especially when to apply, and I think you've also like mentioned the things that people need to avoid and the things that people need to be aware of so that they can maintain the funding and actually like get the degree, right? So now you find yourself at UJ, you completing this degree. So I'm guessing you completed in record time, right?
No, unfortunately,
Okay, we'll get
I
to
did
that.
it.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
So now you'll tell us like what happened, briefly, and then I want you to take me to then how did you start with looking for a job, right? Because now I think that you want to be a software engineer at this point, right? Because we discussed that. And how do you go about now doing this degree, deciding that you're going to go for a graduate program? When do you apply for it? Because you got a graduate program. When do you apply for it? What do you need to do to apply for it? What's the difference between applying for a graduate program and just applying for a job as a junior, whatever? What's the difference,
Okay. So firstly, when it comes to a graduate program, it's made for graduates.
Yeah.
Right? So it's made for you, the graduate, or the person doing their final year.
What is a graduate program?
Okay. So a graduate program is basically companies want to offer opportunities to youngsters who just came from school, university, college, etc. Right? They want to offer you an opportunity to join and sort of be in their space and learn how the industry works, whatever industry that may be, within that company. That's basically they're providing an opportunity to young people to become professionals in their space without the pressure of them applying to become, for example, an intermediate software developer, in which there you would require more sophisticated knowledge and experience. But because you are a grad, you don't have that, right? So they provide this platform. That's basically what a grad program is. Several companies offer it. If you look around and you really do your research, I promise you will find a lot of companies do offer graduate programs. When do you start looking for these opportunities, right? The moment you get to your final year, I want to say a month after you get to your final year is where you start looking.
So that's early in your last year, in your final year.
Yes.
So you're talking about March, Feb.
Yeah. March, Feb, latest if you took maybe some time to start getting prepared, April. That's when you need to start looking for opportunities, right? And it's as easy as, I'm just going to make an example. You want to be a software engineer or software developer. Search software developer graduate programs. Search online, Google, right? And start scrolling. I mean, most of us know there's this tab which says jobs, right, in Google. Just go there, start scrolling. I advise to apply to as many as you can, right? I had this rule that I used to say, Uguti, if I don't get at least one rejection per day, I'm not applying enough. Right. So just apply.
Because then a lot of people, they will apply for, 1 or 2 and then they get rejected and they like, yeah. So how many did you apply for?
Luckily for me, I applied for one and
Shaun. You can't tell people to apply for all of them, but you applied for one.
I mean, I got blessed, right? I got lucky. But it's not always gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Right. So we can't use the experience to in your life. You can't do that. You need to try and increase your chances as much as you can, right? But yeah, so basically that's what a graduate program is.
Yeah.
And that's what I did last year.
Okay. So for me, when I summarize like what a graduate program is, I think of it as, you have people that are transitioning from being students into being professionals. So they're integrating you from a, student environment into a working environment where they now introduce, because it's quite a huge shift, right? So what were your experiences as a grad? Like what are the things that you learn as a grad?
yeah.
Like why is like being a grad exciting? Like, what did you enjoy about it?
Firstly, there's a high chance that wherever you're gonna go as a grad, you're gonna be very much given like all the support that you need. And when I say support, I mean everyone is gonna be there available to sort of extend.
Because they know you're a grad.
They know you're a grad, you are lost, right? I understand kwenzakalani,
Yeah.
Some of them might even extend their help because they're trying to avoid risking you breaking certain things. That's just how it is. But at the end of the day, you're gonna get a lot of like support, right? Support and guidance, and then some exciting things, right? When it comes to graduate programs, is that you have the space you're given the space to learn how things really work, right? So you'll find most of the time that as much as you're a grad, but you're gonna also be considered like as an employee, right?
Yeah.
But
Because as a grad, you're actually a permanent employee, but it's just that you start in a program, a
yes,
structured
a
program.
structured program, which I'll get to. So you are in that you are an employee, but your delivery is a little bit less intense than other employees. So you're given the space to actually figure out what it is you're trying to do, how do you solve it, and then what do you learn from it, right? So I think the one thing that you need to take as a graduate in a graduate program is that whatever you're given, make sure that there's always a learning experience from it, right? Whatever task that may be, whatever thing you need to deliver, make sure that you learn from it, because that's one of the main reasons for a graduate program. Now, most of them are structured, right? You find that there'll be a lot of sessions during the year where you guys go for maybe like a financial training because like usasemusha, right? So uyahola manje.
Oh yeah,
And
now
you
you're
don't
getting the
know-
big bucks now.
Yeah, so
you need to know what to do with,
you need
with
to
this
know what to
money.
do. Exactly. You need to know how to handle your money.
Going
you know.
from getting 0 a month, now you have a few grand in your bank account.
I mean, NSFAS. I mean, shout out NSFAS, but like, hey, sometimes it gets rough, But like, yeah, now you have decisions to make, adult
Yeah.
decisions, and sometimes you might even find that your graduate program is based in another province where maybe you're not from, right? So it's like it's a whole different adjustment for you, right? So you'll find that these graduate programs, they'll give you training on that, on how to handle your finances, how to who to talk to, when you have certain things that you wanna sort of plan for your life. Who do you go to seek for assistance? You'll have a lot of technical training as well.
So they're not just preparing you for the job that you're going to be doing as a software engineer. So it's like it's an overall program that helps you even like with your personal finances and all other aspects of
life.
You being an independent, like an employee. Now you have a salary, you have
Yeah. 100%. It's not just for the job. Also, even when it comes to like the technical aspects of it, right? It's not just like it's for you as a developer. Like, how do you grow yourself when it comes to technical? So depending on the company, if company company A works with technology A, you'll be taught a lot about technology A, right? Because yes, as much as it's also for your own personal development, but at the end of the day, it's getting you prepared for the next year and onwards when you are now a full-time employee, right? You're no longer a grad. So, but you get a lot of training, guidance, and also you get a lot of room to ask questions. This next cohort of like graduates that joined where I'm working right now, the one advice that I always give them is
Oh, now you're giving them advice.
Yeah, now I'm giving them. I'm a footman now. Like I'm king advice now. I have a lot of experience, So I'll tell them that this is the year where you have the biggest opportunity to ask questions, to fumble, to also try new things. Because when you try out certain things, let's say you're given a task, and don't be scared to do it and say, what if I mess up, or what if I do this? That's actually an opportunity for you to learn. If you do mess up, you are in the part of your career where you're given sort of, they'll forgive you. You'll be fine because they'll just know it's okay. Lo muntu saqala uyaqala ukuyenza this thing, right? So we shouldn't be now intense to this person to say, okay, why are you, why did things not go well, or why did you break, or so. This is an opportunity for you to explore. Don't be afraid to explore, right? Try things and take leaps of faith.
What would you advise someone who's choosing between a graduate program, just based on what you hear from these people, and other options, is in like, I'm just gonna go straight and apply for a job. Let's say someone missed the application, right? Yeah. Because normally they close early, maybe like before mid-year, they close the application, people get selected. By the time it's June, it's already too late for most of these, especially with good companies, right? And now I'm like, okay, I'm doing my final year. It's September. I need to start thinking about a job next year. Yeah. Like, what would be your advice, like in terms of choosing between a graduate program, and just from what you're hearing from your circle?
So I want to say, well, it's going to be three things, right?
Yeah.
Firstly, you should know where you stand when it comes to how comfortable are you with the stuff that you learned in school, right? You should know well enough to know, Uguti, okay, as much as they want a junior software developer here, but looking at this description, I can see, Uguti, I don't know how to work with Cobalt, or maybe some language or some framework or some technology, right? So don't bite off more than you can chew. That's what I'm trying to say when it comes to applications. Be realistic in your decision when it comes to applying, because one, that's going to save you time, because I don't want to be negative, but there's a high chance you'll probably not even get accepted for that role, because if they're going to compare the description with what you have, most likely you're not a match, right? So save your time. Unga apply like a mid-level software developer opportunity.
So look for entry level.
Look for entry level, graduate program, junior, around that space, right?
Yeah.
Internships as well. That's where
because people tend to deceive people, say, no, just apply, you'll never know.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
As much as you need to be hopeful in this life, be positive, but be realistic sometimes, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is projects. I'm speaking specifically like in my space where there's a lot of code. You have to do a lot of projects and like build apps and websites and stuff. Do that. The more you do that and make sure that it's meaningful projects which maybe offer like some business value, even if it's not solving a specific company's problem, but like just something that has a value, right?
Yeah.
And also business-wise value, and technically it should uplift you.
That's very important, Shaun, because I feel like sometimes people miss that part, because people, they will just get a certificate, this degree, right, this paper, and then they just sit. But in the meantime, like you said, you can build a project.
Yeah.
You can work on something where you can apply your skills. Because also, even if you don't have that job experience, but even when you apply, you can put your project, and then you're able to have a conversation about what you build, how did you solve it.
Exactly.
You have something to then demonstrate that you can apply those skills.
Exactly. And also, I think people, I want to say grads, they mistake is they think Uguti, whatever project that they're working on, it has to be some majestic thing. Like, I'm a recruiters, they're realistic, right? They know Uguti, you are a junior. So you can't, like, you're not expected to now come with some project which is meant to solve like world hunger, or you're not expected to
Yeah.
do that, but at least have something to demonstrate to Guti. You actually have a keen interest in upskilling yourself as a developer or someone in your space, right? So I think that's definitely point number 2. It's going to help you when it comes to applying. You're just increasing your chances of someone looking at your application twice, you know.
Because if I compare the two, I'll be like, no, this one you can see they have the passion, they have the potential. The other one is just sitting. There's, obviously I'm gonna
Maybe
take
they have the degree.
I'm
That's
gonna
it.
take someone who's trying to apply, and showcasing maybe these projects on LinkedIn or
Yeah.
sharing some of that. Yeah.
So basically, that's it. I don't know now. Point number 3 has slipped my mind. But yeah, no, it's okay. If it comes back,
Yeah.
I'll come back.
So now, as a software engineer, right? As a software engineer, now you're a software engineer. Like, what do you do when you get to work as a software engineer? Like,
Yeah.
what do you do? How does your day look like as a software engineer?
Yeah. Firstly, there's this misconception that if you're a software engineer, you're gonna sit in a dark room with a hoodie on and you're just gonna be working on code and that's it. It's very much different from that. You're gonna find yourself working with a lot of people, right? Because and a good analogy that I like to use, right, is imagine a building. Like, oh well, let's not say a building. Let's say a house.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine a house needs to be built, right? Our architects would have drawn some diagrams of how the house is going to be, measurements, all of that.
Blueprints.
Right?
Yeah.
Blueprints, right? But now the house needs to be built. Most of the time, you find that in building that house, there's someone who's meant to manage Uguti. What are the builders doing? How are they building this house? How far are they with this, with that foundation? Ibonda loqala, or
Yeah.
maybe whatever approach that is there. So you as a developer think of yourself as the builder, the person who's
There's
laying
someone
the dirt.
who needs to talk to the client and how should the house be, what color, what windows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You as the builder are not gonna go talk to the client because
that.
remember, you as the builder, number one, ungcolile, ugcwele cement all over, right? So
Those are not developers though.
yeah. Those are definitely
Just an analogy.
just an analogy, right? But like, someone needs to go represent you guys as the builders when they go talk to the client, the person who wants this house, right? So this is the person who's gonna go and say, okay, the house is this far, blah blah blah. But now that person is gonna come to you guys with that feedback from the client, right? So you can see that there's a lot of communication going on here. Maybe some bricks, Nyen's example, maybe they were not good quality bricks. They fell, 50 of them. So if you think when you're just a builder, there's going to be a point where you need to communicate to these people. Oh, it's okay. Some bricks fell and it broke. They broke. We need to sort of hold off on this and start thinking first about this. So that analogy, guys, is definitely like it's what you're gonna do on a day-to-day as a software engineer or as a software developer. You're gonna get to the office and you're gonna speak to a lot of project managers. You're gonna speak to a lot of business analysts, people who speak to AMA stakeholders and people who drive like where the company goes, right? AMA investors. You as a developer are not gonna speak to those people. Well, you're not gonna speak to all of them, but you need representatives, and those representatives are gonna be speaking with you, right? So you're never gonna be in some room all alone, and somehow you magically get a task for you to do, and then you do it, and then next, and then it's never gonna be like that.
So you
Because in that
need
case,
all those skills. You need all those people working together to build something.
Yes, you need skills so communicating about communicating with people. You need to have I want to say a good understanding of people's EQ, right? You also need to try by all means to have a good EQ and accommodate.
For people that don't know, Shaun, what's EQ?
EQ, that's Well, I want to say emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
right? So I know the cue is not there, right?
Because working with people requires you to, it can be frustrating. Sometimes that you need that.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, so the last thing you want to do is find yourself being this great developer. Like technically, you are amazing. Like you write the best thing, the code. Like your apps work perfectly. But like you're a difficult person to work
To
with,
work with.
right? You're always moody. Maskuluma now, like you're very cheeky. Like everything in Jayako is like,
Yeah.
that's not how you want to do it. So that's the first thing, and then also you're gonna work with other developers as well,
Yeah.
right? So you're never gonna be working by yourself. You'll find that most of the time, especially when you start
So
to
you're
be a
not building
junior.
this house alone. You're actually building this house with other builders, other software developers,
Yes.
building the software.
Building the software, right? So you'll find that most of the time you're working with other developers, especially as a junior. You're going to be working with your seniors. Those are the people you need to hang around close with when you want to develop yourself technically.
Yeah.
Ask them questions like, why did you do it this way instead of this way?
Yeah, don't sit there and keep quiet.
Don't sit there and keep quiet. And
Because someone else has done exactly the same thing. Instead of sitting there for 2 days, but just by asking, you can get whatever problem you have sorted in.
yes, exactly. You can get whatever problem you had sorted quicker because now you decided to speak out, shine, man. Especially as a junior, that's your opportunity because there's a lot of room for you to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I'm inverting commas.
And that's very important, Sean, because I find that, like, in my experience as well, like, as a software developer, prior, it was that people that were asking a lot of questions, they were learning quicker. And also, those are the people that are like, hey, yeah, Sean is always talking to this. He's always asking questions.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we like. Like, we like
Yeah.
questions.
Those are the people, yeah.
We like helping people.
Exactly.
And people are afraid to go ask for help.
For help. Yeah. So my coworker, there was a time when I actually asked him, what is his advice for me, like as I'm in this journey of being like a junior, and he said two things, right? He said, work hard, like really hard,
Yeah.
right? But also show up, be there. Like whenever there's something going on, whether it's good or bad, within the team, within the company, within the space, be there. Presence, be present, right? Those two things are gonna work for you like 100%. So the be present part is what we're talking about in terms of communicating about, to speak with people, tell people about yourself, ask them, Oguti, like ask them about themselves, like have conversations with people, kuluma nabantu, develop relationships, right, with people in the workplace. Trust me, it's gonna go a long way for you, and also work hard because you can be the most amazing guy in the office. Like when ulethela abantu ama-donuts,
Yeah.
but like your performance yako is like really bad, right? So you want to balance, you want to keep a good balance of those.
So what would you say was your challenges? Like, what were the things that you found difficult this past year as a software engineer, as someone who's working for the first time?
I definitely had more challenges as someone working for the first time than I did like as just a software engineer in general. Well, I did have some as a software engineer. I'll start with those. Being able to communicate with non-technical people, right?
Because you have to simplify a lot of things and use English.
Use English, right? So you'll find yourself being in a meeting where you're speaking with like four non-technical people, and maybe there's that one technical person, right? What you tend to do is fall into the trap of, I'm gonna speak technicals because I know this person understands me, and then you forget what you're not in the room with just that person. You have other people who don't even know what do you mean when I'm API failure or blah blah blah, right? So um, you need to know how, you need to train yourself in speaking English. Get away from the technical terms.
So knowing your audience and knowing, oh, this is my type of audience, let me
adjust.
And but if you are with other, nerds, other developers, then you can go crazy.
Yeah, he said nerd. Yeah, then you can go crazy.
Developers
then.
are nerds, man. Come on.
Yeah, then there you can go crazy and like truly explain what it is that's wrong or what it is that's right. Maybe what went well, if something went well, right? But to non-technical people, most of the time, what you find that they care about is the feature from a business perspective.
The results,
right? You can build the most sophisticated button.
Not how you build it. Hey, I added this layer.
They don't care.
Does it do the job?
Does it do the job
or not?
Is it fast? Is it safe? That's it, right? That's what they want. So try and sort of train yourself to be able to communicate with those people, right? Accommodate that audience, because you're going to find yourself being in a lot of those situations, where there's non-technical people. You're the only one there. You need to speak English. Yeah.
Shaun, this is all because I like it. It's because it's all fresh to you, right? Because it's something like very, very recent. So what advice, man, would you give to people that are sitting with, I think some of this advice came through this conversation, right? Let's say I'm a software, or I studied, a BSc in IT or BSc in computer science, and I want to be a developer. Some of it is, code, like build some projects so that you can show that you can, don't just sit around, right? But what are the other advices that you can give to just software developers or just people in general that are like doing other careers, but they're looking for jobs? Like, what advice can you give people into how to, get into the industry or how to just find a job, man?
That one is a tough one, considering the country we're in.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest there. It's unemployment is a real thing in this country.
I think over 50% youth unemployment in South Africa. So it's quite big.
It's quite big.
Hence what we are doing, right?
Yeah. So I would say, firstly, look for mentorship, right? Finding mentorship comes in different ways, right? Whether you know someone in your neighborhood who maybe in the space that you want to go into, or maybe you think, okay, this person might know someone who's in the space I want to go into, right? Going on LinkedIn, but obviously be careful there, right? Don't just talk to like random strangers. Talk to people in which you think, oh, it's okay, there's a way for you to establish like a chain of relationships that lead to this person, right? Speak with people, ask for advice, ask them to provide you with like, I want to say opportunities to network. So if there's an event somewhere, speak to someone. Maybe this event is going to have a lot of people who are in the space that you want to go to.
Networking,
yeah? Yeah, and you know someone who's going there, right? Ask that person, hey, can I tag along, right?
You always need other people.
You're going to need other people. Grow in network yako, look for a mentorship. And the mentorship doesn't even have to be a formal thing. You say, that's my mentor. No, just have people in which you frequently go to for advice, and that's firstly. Networking, mentorship. Applying. Just apply. Please apply. Like, you can do all the projects that you want, right? You can network with all the people that you want to network with. But at the end of the day, when it comes to just admin speaking, we don't know you, right? We don't have the application yako. So we don't have proof of existence as a company. So the only way you solve that is if you apply, right? A lot of trial and error. Don't lose the spirit of just fighting to try and get like an opportunity, right? So don't give up when it comes to that. And then also increasing your chances by try and find a creative way in your space to shine, right? I'll give an example. So in my space, I got blessed with working with a government organization called SASTech, where we had to build like a website for them, right? And it was a basic website. They just wanted like about us, contact us, a homepage, right?
Simple.
Simple thing. But that goes a long way because even in my interview processes, I had mentioned it in my CV and they had asked, right? So tell us about this because you say you built the site. And so I had to tell them technically what did I have to work with, what did I learn technically and from like a business perspective, right? Because at that time when I was building that site, I was working with two other guys. One of them was in DUT, the other one was also in UJ, right? So I was sort of representing them as developers when I go speak to a member of this government organization. I'll call them like a stakeholder,
Yeah.
right? So I learned some skills there. What I'm trying to say is I exposed myself, right, to opportunities. I started a business and it ended up working towards my favor, right? So I want to give like another example. If you're someone who's perhaps maybe in the legal space, right, you're not going to build websites. But what you can do rather is maybe say, you know what, I wanna start doing research on behalf of the public. So whenever there's a certain case that's of interest and there's certain maybe findings that were there in the court, you wanna share them with the people, sort of try and simplify it for the public audience, knowing very well that people are always gonna come to your area, whether that would be LinkedIn or your website, for as an audience for more content. That's something that's of value when you apply for jobs. Add that in your CV, right? Because you're very much different from someone who did law and they just now have the degree and they just
They did
there.
nothing.
Yeah, and that's another like an example. But find a creative way in your space. That I can't go into every space. Now we are
They get it.
space circle. Yeah, I think they get it.
Do something.
Do something.
Do something. Even though you're not employed, you're looking for a job, but find a way of being visible. Find a way of applying your skills.
Yeah.
But just do something.
Yeah, and just to say one more thing, like surely maybe some person might be watching this and they say, yeah, but like Shaun is giving like some vague advice, right? In terms of like do something. But like to be honest, in this world we live in, some of these things are not clear cut. Like do A, do B, do C.
There's no step 1, 2, 3.
There's no step 1, 2, 3. Because if there was step 1, 2, 3, everyone would have a job, right? So we are here now because there's no step 1, 2, 3. It's just a matter of you taking initiative and saying, "Mpagameli life yami, msukumeli life yami," and I'm gonna try and fight mentally. If I'm gonna have to have sleepless nights working on something, I'm gonna have to do it. Right? If I'm gonna have to think outside the box, I'm gonna sit and try and figure out creative ways to think outside the box and land myself in a better position than I was yesterday.
Shaun, this was a great conversation, man. Thank you so much. Guys, today we've learned about, NSFAS, we've learned about career choice. How do you go about choosing your degree? Looking at the job demand. We've learned a lot about graduate programs, what they are, and all about software engineering. So Shaun, thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you.
Cool.